Well, shit. I hope I'm not recording over anything, because I can't figure out how this fucking thing works anymore. I used to know. Well, here's something beyond the shadows and a little bit down the rabbit hole. But it's all the way down the rabbit hole. You see, ever since I was a child, I always asked people this question. Grown-ups never seemed to understand it. Nobody seemed to. What is the shape of the universe? Right? The universe is all of existence. All of reality. However, everything we know about existence and reality has a kind of shape to it. All shapes we know of have perimeters. A perimeter has to have an inside and an outside. However, how can all of existence have an outside that does not exist? It was a hard question for people to understand, so I didn't really get many good answers. I think Heisenberg would have had great answers for that one, but he died. So, I do believe quantum physics gave me a lot of insight on this. You see, the universe, it doesn't have a geometrical shape. In fact, I don't think shape even comes into play. I mean, we have very, very limited senses. We're barely more intelligent than fish when it comes to the complexity of the universe. Now, so think about that now. But you have to think, does it go on for infinity? Well, no. Infinity is also kind of spatial, in a way. Although it breaks the barriers of spatial. But when it comes to that outside of all of existence, we have spatial minds. We think of a shape, but you know, the outside of all existence is between the smallest subatomic particles of every atom in existence. And what is between those? And subatomic particles, they don't really exist in our frame of reality. They bleep in and out of existence. Sometimes they're in two places at once. They are entangled. They can be on opposite sides of the universe and communicate instantly, regardless of space. There's no travel of information. And so, I've come to the conclusion that perimeter of the universe is more of a fish thought, a lizard brain thought. It's primitive. It's us. Shape really has no meaning when it comes down to it, because if you look between the atoms and within the atoms, as most of us have heard, we're mostly empty space. However, would you even call it space? Now, what if most of what is present is not real? It does not exist. It's present, but it is not real. It does not exist, but it is present. And when you consider the fact that we have proven that we are mostly empty space, or we call it space, it seems like the outside of what we think of as a perimeter of the universe is all pervasive. It's inside of us. It's inside every atom, between every atom. It is most of presence. And so I discovered in my mind that the best answer, well, yeah, I didn't discover much, but the best answer I could come up with is that shape is meaningless when it comes to all of existence, because existence is just a tiny little speck that was flicked out of this all pervasive sort of omnipresence. Most presence is not real, does not exist, but it is there. But it's like a capacitor. It's like the difference between potential energy and kinetic energy. When you lift an anvil way up into the air, all that potential energy, I mean, it's present, but hasn't been utilized. So, to me, that is the answer. Existence and reality is a small, well, size. It's hardly worth mentioning, but it is probably the smallest part of omnipresence. Now, I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about all-pervasive presence. I can't call it real because it's not reality. And it's not existence. But it is there. It is present. That is what is outside the perimeter. However, that perimeter, or what we use as a model anyway, is between us. It is in us. It is everywhere. It saturates us. And we are just a tiny, tiny bit of existence that was collapsed from this chaos capacitor of omnipresence. So, that's my answer. Not the best one I could come up with so far. I've been thinking about it since I was a kid. I would love input if anybody has any. But anyway, that's definitely beyond the shadows. It's beyond existence. And way the fuck down the rabbit hole. I would appreciate feedback and discourse among yourselves, because that too would be awesome. Please educate me.